Welcome to this Manifestation Masterclass. This is your start here video, and let's just dive into it. Here's what we're going to cover. Number one, why this manifestation course. And number two, your roadmap. It's a suggestion how to get the most out of your experience here so you can manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life. I do promise you that this, even though this is a free course, and I'll share a little bit more about this in a moment, even though this is a free course, it costs you nothing. It costs only, and that is not only, that's for sure, but it costs your time. It's an investment into your time. But even though this doesn't cost any money, what I want with this is to give you as much value in this free course as possible. I really want you to succeed with this, to have an experience where you feel a shift inside of yourself, and also that where you will see a shift in your life, in your reality. And I can promise you that if you dive into the work here, if you do the things, if you have fun with this, this will happen. And I can promise you this because I have taught thousands of people with these things. And as I have went through my own journey, had my own learnings, had my own transformations, my work has my work has been, what's the word for this in English? My work is being even more deep now. I will not cut these things out as authentic as it can be. So we'll go through the roadmap, and I have a warning for you. I'm going to say this again and again and again, but this is the most important video in the entire course. So watch the entire video. Don't skip anything. Don't fast forward. And also a pro tip for you, and I will say this again and again and again, but you can adjust the speed. So if you think I speak too slow, you can just adjust the speed. So let's dive into it. Why this manifestation course? First of all, my name is Michael. My last name is Plusek, and it's originated from Poland, but I live in Copenhagen in Denmark. Probably you find me through YouTube, and I love YouTube. I love YouTube because there's so much amazing content on YouTube, and I love it because I can share my own story, my content, and I can share the things that helped me, and I can help a lot of people with this. So my career story, my way to where I am here. First of all, I had a normal upbringing, and I'm going to share more deeply into this later on why I say normal upbringing. But I had a mother and a father. They both had jobs. They were hardworking people. And also, I was a guy, a little boy and a guy who had no confidence. I was not confident. I was shy. I didn't believe in myself. And in early age, in the last years of school, I began to understand that by being a funny guy, I had people laughing, and that gave me something. And when I finished school, I found out that by becoming a more tough guy, and by that I mean taking things to the edge, experimenting with things, I found it out. I'm going to do it quick here, but I found it out that there was a way for me to, as I would say today, to survive. And because of that, I had some years with a lot of trouble. I had some years where I was stealing, where I was fighting, where I was drinking way too much alcohol, where I did a lot of drugs and experimented with that. And I have some very, very, very tough stories from those years. I'm not going to dive into it now. I'm just going to let you know who I am and my story so you can see where you might relate to this. Then In 1992, I got my first job. I was born in 72. In 1992, I got my first real job, and that was at McDonald's. It became 8 years. Very, very quickly after I started at McDonald's, they took me into their training, their leadership training, and very quickly I became a store manager of the store that I started in. And very quickly they saw that I was a person who had I really, when I set myself to something, I really went after it. So they invited me to help opening new stores. They invited me to take over troubled stores. They invited me to help franchise takers who didn't do well. So this was 8 years of the McDonald's system, leadership, and even in a young age, I managed a store with, I think, 150 people in the busiest time, in the summertime. And I learned so much from that. And I was young, I had a lot of energy, and also I was unexperienced. So even though I took it through the McDonald's system, and I also have, that's the only paper I have that I can do something, that's a McDonald's from the University in Chicago, and I have a doctor's degree in hamburgers. Then I was headhunted in 2000, and I started 12 years of co-creating. I was the co-creator and the operations manager or operation director, and co-creating a coffee shop company, the first in Denmark. And we grew that and was the biggest in Denmark to 500 people, to 50 stores, and to a revenue around 20 million US dollars. So that was my career. Now, my first really big in adulthood disaster was a money disaster. And that's leading into the manifestation here. I was very focused on building an empire. I was young, I had the energy, I had a vision of, I sold my first apartment in a small city, and there was 1 hour drive and train from the coffee shop business each way. In small Denmark, that's a lot of driving, and I had very long days, so it became like all of my day was work. I sold that apartment, and I only understood that I paid off my student debt, and I paid off other debts, and I felt kind of free for a moment. And I had some money extra, and I bought an apartment. And the area that I'm still in here is just like 5 minutes from the center of Copenhagen. It's close to the beach. But at that time, and this is back in 2000, I saw that this was an area that was growing. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a cool place because the investment will go up. So I bought my first apartment here. I became like one with a vision of owning more apartments, and that led me into owning 20 apartments here in this area, renting them all out. Everything was good. I was on the high road, on the highway. I had a lot of money, and prices were rising. And wow, I had 20 apartments, and I had like maybe $150,000 in each of them in capital for me. So that was kind of a lot of money. Then came financial crisis in 2008. And if you remember that crisis, it took a lot of people out. A lot of people lost a lot of money, me included. So I went from being on the highway on one of the people that all other people looked up to. And I was just like, everything was on the highway for me. Everything I touched was gold until the financial crisis. And I didn't see that. I didn't expect it. I learned a lot from that, but it led me into a 1.5 million US dollar debt and very close to bankruptcy. And also at that point, a couple of the most toughest years in my whole life. Stress, frustration. I wanted to give up. I wanted to run away. I went even more into partying and even more into alcohol and even more into drugs and just trying to escape the whole situation. But I was ripped apart. And there was a couple of years where I had so much guilt and shame inside of me because I had one image that people saw, and then I had the reality, which was that I was really, really in a bad shape. So from that, one night, I had, after a couple of weeks without sleeping, sweating, nightmares, turning around in the bed like a chicken, and I was ready to give up. I was ready to run away. And then one night I was like, I sat up in my bed, and some kind of power went through me, and I just like took my hands down in the bed and I screamed, "No! I'm gonna solve this." So what happened was, from that decision, I began reading. I'm just looking over there because some of the books I just found, and I'm going to share more about that. I began reading about how to make money. I began reading about how to get out of this situation. And from there, I began reading about mindset. This is back in 2008, 9, 10. And I began feeling something shifted in my mind. In 2012, I stopped in the coffee shop company. It was 12 years with it was a fast moving train. I learned a lot. I had 500 people in my team. I grew it from zero, and I had a big debt. But something happened, and I decided when I stopped in the coffee shop company with the big debt, and I had made the decision that night that I wanted to take myself out of this disaster money finance situation. And in May or June 2012, I went to my first seminar. I went to London with a couple of thousands of people, and that was a seminar called Mastering Your Mind. And that changed a lot of things for me. It changed something inside of my brain, but it also changed, it felt like, inside of my whole system. I got a coach. I learned a lot about business strategies. I learned about mindset and all of that. And in less than 4 years from then on, from 2012 and the seminar, I grew a company. There was a cleaning company. I grew it to 60 people, to a revenue of $1.5 million a year, less than 4 years. And I sold some of the apartments, and I paid off the debt. And that in itself was quite an adventure. Coming from broke, stressed, frustrated, giving up, life is not worth living, and into less than 4 years, changing my situation 100%. As I went through all of this, I had my second adventure, business adventure too, but also because I felt when I was away on seminars, I learned so much, and I felt the shift inside of me, and I wanted to help other people feeling the same. So I started doing speakings and seminars. I did my own. I started doing coaching. First it was life coaching because I felt the things inside of me, and I wanted to bring that to other people and help them also make that shift inside to make the shift outside world too. And at a point, I even got a contract for me to be on stages, touring around the world. World stages with some of the biggest names. And I remember that was a big decision for me because I could do that. I was getting out of my debt. I felt the shift. And remember, I came from no confidence. I came from a gangster kind of life. And this little kid was shy and couldn't look people in the eye, and suddenly I was with a contract and being on the world stages with the biggest name. But, and I'm not going to go too much into this, but I had a small daughter, and I was just getting divorced, and I got my daughter to live with me. And so my decision was actually that I had this contract traveling around the world, and on the other hand, I had my daughter, and my daughter's mother was still in the country. She's not Danish, she's Brazilian. And so I took away for 1 week to Portugal just to walk on the beach, okay, what am I doing here? I decided at that point in Portugal to stay with my daughter, with the commitment that I made to help her as much as I could, being the best father I could be. It was actually one of my, not goals, but intentions from the heart, to be the best possible father, because my upbringing wasn't a fairy tale story, and I'm share more in other trainings around that. So that was a decision for me. So I decided not to be too much on stages. Instead, what I did was, and this was also an adventure, because I decided inside of myself, okay, it's not possible. I'm going to be with my daughter. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an online coaching business. Kind of the same way as with the business to 60 people and the $1.5 million revenue. In very short time, things just kind of happened for me. Of course, I had to do the work, but they kind of happened. And what happened was that I built an online coaching business all by myself in the small country of Denmark, doing $50K US a month, and only me. Now, how could this happen? And what I did was I helped other entrepreneurs with the things that I learned, creating my cleaning company from 0 to 60 people and $1.5 million US in revenue. And I help other entrepreneurs doing the same, with the same strategies, but also the same mindset. And I have some amazing stories from people I work with who changed, experienced entrepreneurs who changed their story, their reality, their life in amazing ways in only a couple of weeks. So again here, I was on the highway. It was from 2012 and some years forward, I was just doing really good. But then something happened. I had a personal disaster. After my relationship with my daughter's mother, I found the woman of my dreams. And the quick story here is that I sat down after the relationship with my daughter's mother. I sat down and I was really getting clear on what kind of relationship do I want now. And I put everything down. And I wanted a sexy woman. I wanted her to be sophisticated. I wanted her to be able to speak with. I want to connect with her. I want to have great sex with her. And I listed everything down, even how she looked. And I was getting really clear on these things. I'm gonna share some amazing tools with you later on. I found her. I was on a cleaning meeting, and the guy that I knocked on the door in the office, he said, "Well, the woman you're supposed to meet is not here, but would you mind meeting with this woman instead?" And I saw this woman. She standed up, and I was blown away. I was like, "Wow." I felt the connection, and it seems like she did too. It was so amazing. That was a 5.5-year relationship, and fact is that we traveled. She was getting very close in my inner circle to birthdays and weddings and things like that. But 5.5 years and a lot of strange things also. And I was getting more and more stressed about what was actually happening until I found out the truth. The truth was that she had another man. She had another man, and she had a daughter that I didn't know about. So today, I don't want to talk about her, but I call it a narcissistic relationship, because I was manipulated and I was lied to, and I didn't know what was up and down after those 5.5 years. So what happened to me there was I died. And I literally, when I found out, my head crashed and my whole system crashed. And I lay for 2 weeks on the floor in my living room, and I couldn't do anything at all. I cried, and my body was shaking, and it was like, I didn't know what was happening. After 2 weeks, my daughter was with her mother. I told her I was sick. I called the phone. I took up my phone for the first time. I called after the 2 weeks. I called the suicidal line, and I shared the story. I shared it. I couldn't even figure out what was 2 plus 2. My mind didn't work. It was kind of like I was dead. But quick story here, that helped me. It gave me a little comfort speaking. And I called them a couple of days, and then they suggested me to go into to find the right people to help me forward, and I did. And at that point in my life, it was the biggest disaster ever. I feel like I was dying. But what happened actually was, it was all the things that I learned through my life to survive. The little kid, the little Michael, the little boy who was not confident, who was shy, who didn't believe in himself, who didn't love himself, who thought that the whole world didn't love him either. That guy had protected himself all through my gangster years. It was just walls, facades, masks, whatever you will call it, that I put in front of me to protect myself. I didn't know it. And all through my career with the McDonald's and with the coffee shop company, same thing, in just another suit or mask. I was just building walls. I was building protection, and it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And for most people, this might be very difficult to understand, but I also know that for most people also, there will be something inside, maybe that's you, something inside where this resonates. Something that is, because that was what, when I look back, what happened to me for so many years was, I wanted to find myself. I wanted to find love. I wanted to feel love. I wanted to find positivity, not up here, but actually experience positivity. So that personal disaster led me into me finding my truth. And what I say today is that woman was the biggest gift. So much pain from childhood, so much trapped emotions, so much trapped energies, traumas, whatever you want to call it, for all of these years. And then a few years where I finally figured out, not up here, but my system figured out how to let go of all the things that I'm not. Finding me, which is actually my mission today, is to figure out, who am I? What am I capable of? Who am I? What am I capable of? So that's why I say it's the biggest gift, because I found myself without having to put a lot of masks on or anything at all. I found myself, and I'm on a mission to keep finding myself. So my path, my truth now, as I look back, is that the financial disaster, the business things, the business adventure, growing a business to 60 people of my own, the cleaning business, growing the coaching business to 50K a month, the woman, the disaster where I actually kind of died, I manifested it all. I manifested it all. The 1.5 US million debt, I manifested it. The 2 business adventures, cleaning and coaching, I manifested it. The woman of my dreams who was cheating, I manifested it. All of this, I manifested this. And I know, and I share my story here, but this is why I'm doing this manifestation course and why I'm sharing all of this for free, because I found my freedom, and I want to help others on their path. Wherever you are when you're seeing this, wherever you are, I know for most people, life is kind of, how do I figure all of this out? Many of us, if we are entrepreneurs or we have some kind of thing calling inside of us to do more, to be more, to deliver our gift, I know that on that path, many of us, most of us, maybe all of us, feel struggles, experience struggles. And I just want to help as many people as possible that resonates with my story and me, to help them on their path, to break free, but also to manifest the things that they really want in their life. And that might include figuring out what they actually do want, and then manifest it, and as easy as possible. All of what I'm sharing is pretty simple, but not necessarily easy. It's pretty simple, not necessarily easy. So that's why. From here on, this was my story, the quick version. I'm gonna share more stories as we go into the material, but let's look at your roadmap. The roadmap. First of all, there's a quick thing, and that is for you to introduce yourself. So in the community, as I'm speaking right now, I am building all of this. So this is the welcome video. This is where you start. If you watch this on YouTube and you're not in the community and you want to be with us, you can find the link below the video as soon as I've started this. And in the community, there is a post where you can introduce yourself. So if you're in the community, below this video, there will be a link where you can introduce yourself. Also, I will create a link so there's a template for you to help you how to introduce yourself, because I know some people feel that it can be very difficult. You don't have to use the template, but it's just to make it easier for you. And why do I really want for you to introduce yourself? Because one of the things that I learned from my first seminar that I did, maybe you have a lot of experience with these things, maybe you don't, but when I participated on the first day, I was shy, I was not confident. I sat myself in the back of the room and I didn't really want to participate. And I was called out by the teacher. When I shifted that, when I sat in front of the room, when I raised my hand, when I took myself into the next level instead of letting myself hide, when I participated, that's the key word here, participated, I got so much more out of the experience. I felt like a part of it. I shared things, and suddenly people came to me, and I had new friends, and it was amazing. And also, maybe I thought I was getting 100% out of it, but maybe I was only getting 30% out of it. And when I began participating, I saw that it was maybe 80 or 90 or 100% that I got out of it, and I felt the shift. So it's an invitation for you to really introduce yourself as the first step. Second step is invite 3 people who you believe will benefit from this. Maybe entrepreneurs, impact-driven business owners, people who have struggled and want to make it, people who have some kind of goals or ideas that they can be and do more, but they keep experiencing the same thing, the hamster wheel, as I call it. Just invite 3 people. Again, it's about the energy. So for me, it's about inviting you to get the most out of your experience. And also, this is about the whole manifestation things. When we give, I give. This is a free community. I give, I share. And I just want to grow this community with like-minded people who are impact-driven, who kind of like feels there's more, but also from here, from the heart. This is the community that I want to build and help people find freedom, find themselves, build businesses, manifest more money in their life, manifest a dream life. All right? So just invite these people. And in this way, there's also more flow into it. I just want to build this community. So invite 3 things. 3 friends. That was number 2. Number 3, school. School is the community where this is built, where you see the video if you're inside the community. It's called school. I love school. There's so much great in school. And because I can do the videos, it's pretty easy to figure out how to see them, watch them, even click when you watch so you can see how many videos you watch and all of that. If you want, number 1, if you want to create your own school community, I will put an affiliate link below. That means that's a quite cool thing of the school thing. So if you want to create your own school community and you use my affiliate link, you don't have to, but I would really enjoy it if you do. Well, then I earn a little commission when you start your community. And if you feel like that, use the link below. Again, if you're on YouTube, you will not see the link below, but if you're in the community, you will see the link below. And also, if you join the community, then I really invite you to download the school app, because then you can see, you can comment, you can, if people comment on something that you ask about or comment or share, you will see that in the app. And also you can watch these trainings in the app. Next, your roadmap in this manifestation master course. And it looks like this. Number one, start here. And it might be when you are in the master course, in the free community, it looks a little bit different because I'm setting all of this up right now. I just want to get this rolling. So start here. This is what you're looking at now. And when you're done with that, you can mark it. And then you can move on to number two. You can take it in any way you want it. But I will really invite you to take this number two first, because this is the manifestation foundation. This is the foundation of your new life and your new reality. And I am looking so much forward to share these things with you. This is how I started. This is the things that shifted for me. I'm not going to speak too much about it now. What I'm going to say is this is the foundation. This is for you to dive into these things, for you to invest a little bit of time in your future. And for you to, if you dive into this, if you participate in this, as I said in the beginning of this training, you will probably feel a big shift inside. And there's a possibility that you will see a big shift in your reality, in your life, and you can see it pretty fast. So I'm just very excited about this. And also there's, I'm in the foundation, there is some fundamental things that I wanted to share with you, and even how you can change this. Fundamental things. You're here right now. You create your dream life inside of yourself. What is it that you want to experience? And what is it that's between where you are now and where you want to be? I call it the wall or the gap or something like that. And I'm going to share with you what it is. I'm also going to share with you some techniques, how you can shift that, how you can remove the wall, how you can put a bridge on the gap, whatever fits for you. This is really, 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 really amazing. And when I share these things, I did it on my seminars, I did it with my coaching clients. And when I saw people from one session to the next session after they did these things, that I got clear on these things, it's amazing to hear how and see how much they shifted. I could see it in their eyes. And also it's amazing to listen to them and listen to some of the results that they created from. And it's so simple. So manifestation foundation. Number two. And number three, I will invite you to dive into the manifestation module 1. There are lots of trainings in there. And these are the things. I mean, the manifestation foundation number 2, do the exercises and invitation, and you will experience possibly so much different in your life. The manifestation module 1, it's diving into manifestation, it's diving into some techniques, it's diving into some of the things to give you an idea, and also for you to begin to create and experience, and life will change for you if you do these things. And I look so much forward to just read your comments, and also maybe even absorb the energy of you shifting. And all of this here, start here, the manifestation foundation and the manifestation module 1 is for free. The community is for free. There's nothing. You don't have to pay anything at all. And as I said, and I do believe, by doing these things, by participating, by letting go of the old version of you and just be with this, you probably will experience a great shift. Inside, you'll feel it, experience it, and outside too, in your world, in your reality. And number 4 is actually that there's a paid community too. So manifestation module 1 is free. All the trainings are free. Then I built on that. So module 2, 3, 4, 5, they will be in a paid community, and also building on the manifestation foundation, doing the work, getting help, getting coaching by me, will be in a paid community. So And I'll make a link below. If you're in the community now, I'll make a link below so you can find the paid community. You can read more about it. You can see. So whenever you're ready, when you've experienced the first kind of shift and you just want to manifest even more, you can read about that. There will be a link, and you can also sign up. Very simple. If you want to have a talk with me right now about the paid community, you read about it, you're a little, maybe you don't know if this is the right thing for you, you don't know where to start or whatever, I will make sure that there's a link below to book a strategy session. Again, if you are in the free community, book a strategy session. In the beginning, it will be with me, and we'll talk about where you are, where you want to go, and talk about the paid community. So booking the strategy session will be for you if you kind of feel like you want to go into the paid, but you're not sure if it's the right thing for you. So it's a help for you to actually jump into the paid, and also for you to know exactly what to do in there to manifest the most amazing life. Great. So a summary here. First of all, this was what we covered. Why this community? Why this free course? We covered my story. Also, it's your possibility to change your life, change your reality. And number 2, your roadmap. Number 1, introduce yourself. Number 2, the manifestation foundation. Go and watch these videos, do the trainings, the exercises as soon as you're finished with this video, and enjoy your experience. And number 3, the manifestation modules. Go through the module 1. There are trainings under that, and also some exercises, and just watch your reality shift. And then if you want to go deeper, go into the paid. There's a link below. And also if you want to have a talk how to get the most out of the paid, and if you have some questions around it, you book a strategy session. And now let's go to work. Ready to manifest? Let's do it.